has been said that there are two sides to every story. Well, I beg to differ, for there are higher levels in this state of existence, for there is an absolute truth, for there is an almighty God, and yes, we are made in His image. So therefore, activate G-Vision.
So, our brother Future, he got a song out there right now that's called Trap Niggas, and it's doing numbers. It's got millions of views out there in the YouTube world. And this song is, I mean, glorifying the trap drug style life in a way that we haven't seen before, because now these brothers are bringing into the thought realm, God bless the trap. He's saying, God bless all the trap niggas. He's saying, God, please allow us to sell more and more drugs. Allow us to participate in more and more overdoses and more families breaking up, so that we can get more and more money, that we can buy more and more cars, have more and more babies out of wedlock. So that's Future. Now, basically what he represents, along with Mr. 2 Chainz, along with, we'll take it old back, Little John and the East Side Boys, even to, you know, maybe even one of, I used to be a big fan of a T.I., you know, before I decided to wake up some. Atlanta. It seems as though Atlanta, Georgia is now this big hub of not just music, but black culture. You know, it seems that everything is going through Atlanta. They expanded the airport in Atlanta. They had this big, huge airport, and it's like this black mecca. But it's also something strange about Atlanta, because it's also turning into Sin City as well, because it's becoming the #1 hub for the homosexual community to not have to hide in, but to be exploited in. And it's also a breakout for people that want access to the adult entertainment industry, and be that porn or be that stripping, late night stripping. It's become a known fact now that if you want to get your song internationally known, like if you want to bounce from the States to Europe and Japan and China like real quick, get one of these Atlanta strip club DJs to start boosting your song up in there. Get some of these strippers to start liking your song, and get them cats to start throwing them dollars. If the strippers like your song, then the chances are you're gonna get some press play. So, you know, I'm not hating on any of these guys, but I do think that that's very sad that we have degraded ourselves to having the strip club be our social forum for coming together and deciding what's hot and what's not. I think that that's very poor. Now, in one of our songs with Secret Weapon, I stated in that song, and I believe, yes, this is and Can't Have That. I stated in that song that in some places you don't go after dark, and if you ain't from around there, don't even put it in park. So relating to what Queen Ashley's question was about how people are scared to come around us, even some of us are scared to come around us. Well, that's exactly true. And it's got a lot to do with the things that we're feeding into us. #1, through the music. #2, just through the entertainment industry as a whole. #3, our willingness just to sin, period. But a lot of these things I'm seeing is coming from the music. Because what is these teenagers, when they get these phones, the first thing that they want to do on their phone is go to YouTube. First thing they want to do is go to SoundCloud. And they want to download music. And when you, mom and dad, are away, or some of you could be right there because you listen to the stuff too, but you moms and dads that try to regulate what you kids listen to, check their iPad, check their phone. Check out some of those songs. Check the lyrics. Pull the YouTube clip up and look at the lyric video of it. And then there's your answer as far as why our condition is the way that it is, because we are continually putting ourselves in a trap. We've come out with a brand of trap music. Now they've even got trap gospel, whatever that is. So everybody wants to be in a trap. But we're supposed to be free, but yet we have made a lifestyle out of living in the trap. And see, what comes along with the trap is prison, constant surveillance, constant pressure, paranoia. No husbands and wives, just husbands and wives don't exist in the trap. Baby mamas and baby daddies exist in the trap. Government checks, EBT cards, SNAP, WIC. These are TANF checks. These are things that exist in the trap. Now, I'm not saying that just because I've even received WIC before. So I'm putting we're all in this together. And that, my friends, is why we must be unapologetically African. Let me say that again. That, my friends, is why we must be unapologetically African. That doesn't mean hating any other race. But what that means is recognizing that when they brought us over here in them slave ships, we was all together. And now we're still here all together. And we're the only people that's here in America that's not together. So this is the recourse. Unapologetically African.
All right, Mr. Sorrell, this is the last question here. So we still out here at the slave trail. What would you say is the most important thing you've learned while you were out here? What could you take back and that resonated with you?
Well, you know, I had to come here in a certain type of way. I had to come scruffy. You know, I had to come with my face a little disheveled and maybe a little musty under the armpits or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to come in the spirit of our ancestors, you know. I wanted to wear my unapologetically African shirt in the spirit of one of our living ancestors, which is Dr. Umar Johnson. I wanted to come that way. And being that I came that way, you know, what's sticking out to me and something I want to convey from this is that we're still here. And when I say we're still here, is that we're still fighting, you know, we're still in the struggle. But most people are in the war. Well, we're all in the war, but how many of us are still fighting? You know, and one thing that I am convinced of is that we should stop automatically assuming that all black people are not comfortable with living under white supremacy, because that is not the case. Some of our black people are very fine with the position that they have been given. And see, that is the thing. A lot of black folks do not want to fight anymore because after the civil rights era, they were afforded certain positions in the community and certain positions economically, as when they could take their individual stem or branch up off of our huge, large family tree, and this stem could not even stick onto the tree and make it better, but break off from the tree and just form another little plant right here that will blossom up and look beautiful, standing apart from the old rugged tree. And this is a continuous cycle amongst our people. People break off when their crab finally does make it out the barrel, because they see all these other crabs in there that really didn't want them to get out anyway. They're like, you know what, I'm going far, far, far away, and I ain't never coming back. And part of it, you can't blame them, because hey, who wants to be impoverished, you know? Who even wants to deal with somebody that has that type of mentality? But I submit this. Each one teach one. And if you are that one that has so quote unquote made it, how far have you made it when if you having all of your PhDs, if your son is at a nightclub and is getting ready to graduate with his PhD, and he gets shot down to the police for looking at somebody the wrong way, or he gets shot by some other patron in there who happens not to be black, who just felt like your son deserved to get shot, and he gets away with it, and your son is the next Trayvon Martin, the next Eric Gardner, the next Tamir Rice, the next Michael Brown even. How would you feel? So what can I bring from this slave trail is this. There was one important monument that we were standing at, and as I was reading it, it was talking about a group of slaves that was led from here, I believe it was back in 1740. It was a guy named Madison Washington. That's his name, baby? Madison Washington. Now, this Madison Washington organized 100 slaves while they were on an actual slave boat on a voyage from Virginia. I guess they were going to circle around Florida and end up in New Orleans. Well, when they got on the ship, Mr. Washington and his constituents organized a revolt as to where when they were in the Caribbean, almost by the Bahamas, these 100 men rose up, took over the boat from their slave masters, and made whatever captains of the boat was left, made them set sail to the Bahamas, because they knew that the Bahamas was a British colony, and they knew that they could stand a chance to have freedom if they made it there. Did they make it there? Yes. But word got back of this revolt to the colony, so things became a lot rougher for slaves to ever try to revolt again. And basically the next time you even hear about slaves coming up and revolting again was at the Nat Turner eras and Denmark Vesey and the whole Haitian Revolution thing. So, to bring it home, what I've learned and what I convey to you guys is that because of people like Mr. Washington, Madison Washington, coming with these 100 slaves, because of the Denmark Veseys, because of the Nat Turners, because of the Harriet Tubmans. If these people did not have the intestinal fortitude to stand up to their slave masters, to white supremacy, to the other slaves who said that they didn't think that they should rebel, to the other slaves that were saying, well, hey, here, right here, you know in the Bible it says slaves obey your masters, and God got us in heaven. If he listened to the slaves that said, well, hey, you know, here in your Bible it says that we should obey the law of the land because God put those people here in charge. If we had listened to that, I pose this question: where would we be now? Would I be able to stand here and talk about this in hindsight? Or would we still be marching down this slave trail with these yokes on our neck, with these shackles on our wrists and on our feet?